Hey, welcome back to my channel. Kayla Lindsay here, and we are going to learn all about banking. I know, I already had a video about banking, and you're probably going, okay, enough with the banking stuff. Just show me how to make money. Here's the thing. Today we're going to talk about how you utilize your bank account to help you make more money. Let's take a look. So most of our bank accounts, I know how I was raised, you pretty much had a checking account and a savings account. Now, here's the challenge with what's going on right now in our world. Inflation sucks. All right, if you haven't noticed, we are at probably close between 6 to 12% inflation, depending upon what you're looking at or where you're looking, but the government keeps printing money. So what does that mean? Cash is trash. Go ahead and write it down. Cash is trash. And the reason why it's trash is because if you're holding on to cash, it's actually depreciating. The $20 that you were given last week is now worth $19.90, right? It is going to continue to decrease in value, meaning it's still going to be the same $20, but it's going to have the purchasability, be able to purchase less. So how do we avoid that? Well, it all starts with your bank accounts, so let's dive into it. There are 5 main bank accounts that you want. Now, we talked last time on our last video, and if you don't remember it, scoot on back to our last video where we talked about opening up a business banking account. Now, in your business banking account and your personal account, because you want to do this in both, but primarily in your business banking account, you want to create several different buckets. When I say buckets, they're actually all separate accounts. What you're going to do is every time you get a commission check, every time you get revenue share, every time you cash out some stock, whatever it is, you are going to put it through this system. And the system is having percentages of that, let's say $100, have percentages that go into each of those buckets. Now, mine is about to be changed up, so I'm sharing my old version with you, but you guys can create whatever you desire, okay? But the way that I have mine set up is that I have my first bucket, which is me, my investments. If you have not learned anything about real estate or investing in general, understand that investing in yourself first is the most important thing. I don't care if you can't pay your rent. I don't care if you can't pay your car note. Guess what? Most times there's the ability to pay something slightly late or pay a portion, right? Figure out a way, but you have to pay yourself first. When you pay yourself first, when I say yourself, I mean your future self, your investments, the things that you're going to do with that money to help it multiply versus sitting in a bank account losing money. Because guess what? 0.01% interest isn't getting anybody anywhere. So when you're paying yourself first, that means you're putting money into your investment bucket. Your investment bucket is the most important bucket that you have because that's what's securing your financial future. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like knocking on doors and making cold calls till I'm 80. Yeah? Did anybody hear me out there? I don't want to do it. And you probably don't either. You might enjoy what you're doing, but it doesn't mean you want to do it 5 days a week for the rest of your life. Here's where we start. We make our buckets. Now, the first bucket I recommend, I call it executive compensation. You could also call it your financial freedom bucket, right? Call it something that you understand what that is for you. No one's telling you what the names have to be. Financial freedom just resonates for me because it means whenever I put $1 in here, I am securing future financial freedom for myself and my family. Okay? So that's the first bucket. The second bucket is the tax bucket. Now, I call them taxes because I freaking hate them, right? So I always want to make sure that I'm actually not having to use that bucket. We'll get to that in a little while or in a later video. The next one is your tax bucket. Some people call it country donations. I donate in better ways than what my taxes go to, so I call it taxes. Then you've got your profit bucket. Now, you can call this a profit bucket, you could call this the fund money account, but it's the account in which you are going to put funds that you can either reinvest or do something cool with your business, right? We've all heard of those agents that they made a really big paycheck and they're like, I'm gonna go reinvest it in my business. What does that really mean? It means they have no plan. They got a big hunk of cash, so they're gonna go throw it somewhere to try and make it do something. You have to have a plan. I'm not saying don't reinvest in your business, but you have to have a plan for where that money is going and the return you intend to see from it. And it's usually not a good idea to take an entire commission check and just dump it on that, because that's called gambling. Can I get a red 25? By the way, if anybody plays that game and red 25 doesn't exist, you know what I'm saying. Your next bucket is going to be your education bucket. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I already have my license, I don't plan on getting certified for anything else. Why would I need an education bucket? The reason in which I've come as far as I have, in my first year of real estate, I did 120,000. My second year, I did 235, right? I'm doing pretty good, I'm starting to step it up. Year 3, I hit a wall. I made bad calls, I didn't have any plan, I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna get to that next level, and all of that and me second guessing myself pushed me all the way back down the ladder to $140,000. I was on the verge of saying, do I even want to keep doing real estate? Because I'm putting the effort in and I'm not getting out what I want. And between that time and now, I went from 130,000 to 600,000 in 36 months. It was a steady increase, and I constantly had ebbs and flows, but I'll tell you, well, the one thing that got me through that, the one thing that pulled me to the top was education. Investing in myself. We already have said that we want to make sure we're putting it into our financial freedom account, right? That's investing in our future profits. Investing in your education is going to help not only that money go further, but it's going to help you get where you want to go. Joining a mastermind, going to Tony Robbins events, joining a second mastermind, taking opportunities to go on trips with other like-minded people so that I can grow and learn. All of that was funded through my education account. It is one of my most important accounts behind my investment account / financial freedom. Now, the very last account is what I call my OpEx account, my operation expenses. Operation expenses happen, right? You need signs, lock boxes, you gotta pay things. It is necessary. But did you notice I put it last? And the reason is, after you filled all the other buckets, then that bucket gets filled. Now you might be thinking, well, Kayla, if you have an even 100%, yeah, then you're always gonna have money in that bucket. Here's where things get tricky. What if one month, because we don't get steady paychecks, right? We're in real estate. What if one month we only make $10,000, but our operating expenses between food and some MLS dues came due, and you had to order extra photos, this, some things added up, and you actually owe in bills $12,000. Now, did you hear me say, we had $10,000 in what actually came in, we have $12,000 in bills. There's a deficit of $2,000 that needs to be paid, and we need to find money for it. Now, what most people do is they have one giant pool of money and they're like, it's fine, I have the money, I'll just go ahead and pay it. But what you're gonna see now is, now that you've got it all spread out, you can see I have a deficit of $2,000 if I'm gonna fill all my other buckets. And what they tend to do is dip into a bucket. And which one do they usually dip into? Their financial freedom. Financial freedom is the number one bucket most people go to because it usually has also the biggest amount of money, the largest amount, the largest percentage. And that's because it doesn't feel as painful, right? When you have enough in there, it's not as painful to steal from that, but you are stealing from yourself in your future. So here's what you need to do. You need to buck up and figure it out. If you need to extend your credit card an extra month, if you need to pay the minimum instead of paying it off, if you need to ask your landlord for an additional month and you'll pay extra, if you need to push off, there's always a way. There's always a way. And the first time you let yourself do it, it gives you permission to keep doing it. Don't let yourself slip up. In some cases, I have some people that I know that tend to want to dip even more. They put it in a completely separate account that they can't even access it. That's right. They have a really good friend or a colleague or someone on their board or someone that they trust who has the access code to that account to make it difficult for you to steal from yourself. Now, I don't have that issue. I am a hoarder of money. That is my money challenge, is I like to hoard money. I see that it's in there, but it still doesn't make me comfortable unless there's more of it. And if some of it gets spent, even if it's on an investment that's making me money, I tend to tense up and breathe and like, oh crap, it's not in there. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. That's my challenge. Some people are spenders. They'll spend until there's nothing left. They'll panic, they'll go work some more and spend. Understand your nature, but do not steal from yourself. One of the best things you can do is get a business credit card I charge everything to my business credit card. There is maybe 1 or 2 things I don't, and it's just because they don't accept credit cards. But I get the points, I get extra dollars. I think I actually just bought some clothes, which I was very excited about, but guess what? I paid it out of the points I got from my credit card. Because I pay for everything with my credit card, because most things I can write off. So pay it through the business. Now you've got your buckets. Now your next question is probably, okay, but what percentage do I put in each of these buckets? Great question. For me, this was my old one. I'm actually going to shift it just a little bit. So my numbers are going to change. But as of right now, this is a good, comfortable one to start with. I put 35% of every paycheck into my freedom account, my financial freedom. I put 15% of everything I make into my tax account. Now I know I hear your drunk monkey. By the way, a drunk monkey is that little monkey that sits on your shoulder and doubts everything that you're doing and wants you to think you're doing it wrong. They may be saying you need way more money saved for taxes than that. Stay tuned, keep watching my channel. I'll show you how you don't need any more than 15%, and you really shouldn't be paying more than 9%. Meanwhile, everyone that's on a W-2 is paying at least 35 to 40. Anyway, so put 15% there. In my profit account, I put 10%. Now that's the biggest one that's shifting, by the way. My education account, I put 5% in, which is going to have a little bit of a shift. And last but not least, what's left over is 35%. What that means is I operate my entire business, which also includes me going out to eat whenever I go out to eat, basically anything I spend on, including my dogs. Side note, if there's a way for you to connect anything to your business, it is a business expense, including vacations. So I want to make sure that I'm connecting that. So 35%, that's all it takes to run my business. And honestly, most months I'm running under that. But guess what? We don't pull it out and clear it back to 0 at the end of each month, guys. We keep accruing. So do we have some months that are better and some months that are less? Yes, and that's okay. We just want to give ourselves parameters. So go get your business bank account open if you haven't already, and then make sure, now that you've got that set up, go in and create your sub accounts. Create your buckets and start to use them. Just as an extra for you guys, if you click on the link below, it'll take you to my page where you can actually download my personal, this is what I actually use, my personal commission spreadsheet, which will break it all out into whatever percentages you want. So at the end of the month, you know exactly how much money needs to be transferred into each of your accounts. And you can make sure to keep note on when the transfer happened and when it came in. Thanks, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you here soon.